Everyone has heard the number, $1 million, maybe two. It gets repeated in articles and financial planning tools, in conversations with coworkers who read something online and now won't stop talking about it. And somewhere along the way, that number lodged itself into the collective imagination as the finish line, the thing you need to hit before you can stop working. Here's the problem. That number is not wrong exactly, it's just completely disconnected from your actual life. And in 2026, with the cost of everything having shifted significantly over the past few years, the gap between the generic number and the real number has never been wider. Today, we're going to talk about the retirement number nobody is actually discussing, what it is, why it's different for almost everyone, and how to find yours. Let's start with where the $1 million figure comes from, because it's not arbitrary. It comes from something called the 4% rule. The idea is that if you withdraw 4% of your retirement savings each year, your portfolio has a very high probability of lasting 30 years or more. So if you need $40,000 a year, you need $1 million. If you need $80,000 a year, you need $2 million. The math is clean. The logic is sound. But the rule has a hidden assumption baked into it that almost nobody talks about. It assumes your savings are your only source of retirement income, and for most people, that is simply not true. Social Security exists. For the average American retiring today, that's somewhere between $1,500 and $2,000 a month in guaranteed income. That's $18,000 to $24,000 a year that your savings don't have to cover. The moment you subtract that from your annual spending need and recalculate, the number shrinks, sometimes dramatically. If you need $55,000 a year and Social Security covers $20,000 of it, your savings only need to generate $35,000. Plug that into the 4% rule and your target drops to $875,000. Not $1 million, not $2 million, $875,000. For many people, that is the difference between feeling hopelessly behind and being closer to ready than they realized. But here's where 2026 changes the conversation in a way most retirement content isn't keeping up with. Inflation over the past several years has permanently reset the cost of living for most households. The retirement budget that felt comfortable 5 years ago needs to be meaningfully higher today just to maintain the same standard of living. Healthcare and housing costs in particular have not come back down, and the assumption that expenses automatically drop when you retire is proving far less reliable than financial planning has long assumed. The retirement number in 2026 is not simply the old number adjusted for inflation. It requires updating both the income side and the expense side of your retirement picture, and most of the generic calculators out there haven't caught up yet. So how do you actually find your number? Step 1 is defining what your retirement actually costs. Not a guess, not a round figure, a real estimate built from your actual expenses. Go through the last 3 months of actual expenses, categorize them, then ask yourself 3 questions for each category. Does this go up in retirement? Does it go down? Or does it disappear entirely? Commuting costs disappear. Work clothing shrinks, but travel likely goes up. Healthcare almost certainly goes up, especially before Medicare kicks in at 65. Home maintenance tends to increase as the house and the people in it get older. Groceries often increase because you're home more. Go through the exercise honestly, and you'll land on a retirement spending number that is specific to your life, not someone else's. Step 2 is calculating your guaranteed income. Look up your Social Security estimate at ssa.gov, include any pension or rental income, and subtract that total from your annual spending need. What's left is what your savings actually have to cover, and for most people, that number is smaller than they assumed. Step 3 is adjusting for your timeline. Retiring at 62 means your savings need to last 30 to 35 years. At 67, you're planning for 25 to 30. The longer the runway, the more conservative your withdrawal rate should be. Some planners now recommend 3.5% rather than 4% for longer retirements. Step 4 is the healthcare buffer. This is the line item most people skip and then get blindsided by. The average couple retiring today will spend well over $300,000 on healthcare costs over the course of retirement. That number needs to live somewhere in your plan, either as a dedicated savings bucket or as a higher overall target. Run through those 4 steps with your actual numbers and you will have a retirement target that is yours, not generic, not based on someone else's income or location or spending habits, yours. Here is what I want you to take away from this. The number that has been floating around in your head, the 1 million or 2 million figure you've been measuring yourself against, was never really your number. It was an average built for a hypothetical person, and you are not a hypothetical person. Your retirement number is almost certainly different. For some people, it's lower because Social Security covers more and their spending is modest. For others, it's higher because they retire early or live in an expensive area or have healthcare needs that require serious planning. But either way, the generic number was never going to tell you the truth about your specific situation. The most valuable thing you can do today is stop measuring yourself against someone else's finish line and spend 30 minutes building your own. The math is not complicated. The clarity it produces is worth far more than any amount of time you've spent worrying about a number that was never really yours to begin with. We'll see you in the next one.